Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news, so hold on to your hats, Packers fans, because the NFL rumor mill is buzzing with some wild speculation that could turn our division, and maybe the entire NFC, upside down. According to Adam Schefter, there's serious talk about the Green Bay Packers making a bold move to bolster their secondary, and it involves none other than Derwin James, the star safety from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a blockbuster, and honestly, it could be just that. The idea is that the Packers are in discussions to acquire James in a trade that might include a third-round pick plus a player from the safety depth chart, possibly aiming to replace or complement Evan Williams, who's been battling injuries recently. This move, if it materializes, could be a game-changer, especially considering where the Packers stand right now in the NFC North. Sitting at 9-3 with a solid shot at clinching the division, Green Bay's management is clearly looking to maximize their Super Bowl window. And why not? With a talented quarterback like Jordan Love leading the charge, the team's offensive core is starting to click. But as we all know, football is a game won in the trenches and in the secondary. Adding a player like Derwin James would be like putting the finishing touches on a masterpiece. Let's take a closer look at James himself. The guy is a game changer. At 29 years old, he's already established himself as one of the premier safeties in the league. His 2025 season stats are eye-popping: 6 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, and a PFF coverage grade of 98, which puts him comfortably in the top 5 safeties league-wide. That kind of coverage ability is rare, especially when you combine it with his deep seam coverage, where he allows just 0.7 yards of separation on deep routes. That's lockdown, folks. James is also a tackling machine, with 88 stops so far this season, and he's been a force in the backfield with 3 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. His ability to blitz effectively, successfully rushing the passer 86% of the time he's blitzed, adds a layer of versatility that defenses dream about. But what really sets him apart is his injury history. He suffered a rib injury in Week 10, which caused him to miss 2 games, but overall, his career has been remarkably consistent. Over his career, he's accumulated 20 interceptions in 95 games, along with 480 tackles, and he's been a disruptive presence, with an EPA per target of -0.24 and an YAC allowed of just 3.6 yards. His ability to read plays and shut down offenses is what makes him a true difference maker. Now, let's consider the Chargers' current situation. At 6-7, they're in a bit of a transitional phase with new head coach Jim Harbaugh trying to stabilize the team. They're also facing some tough financial constraints, with about $18 million in cap space, but they're focusing on freeing up around $15 million to bolster their front 7 and keep star quarterback Justin Herbert's window open. Herbert has been playing at a high level with a QBR of 91.5, but the defense has been leaking points, giving up an average of 27 points per game. That's where a player like James could come in and stabilize the secondary, giving the Chargers a real shot at competing for a playoff spot down the stretch. For Green Bay, this is all about bolstering a secondary that has shown flashes of brilliance, but needs that extra punch to elevate its game. The Packers have about $20 million in cap space, which makes this deal feasible without sacrificing too much flexibility. Adding James would be like turning up the intensity on an already solid defense. Pairing him with Xavier McKinney, who's also having a standout season with 5 interceptions and a PFF grade of 89.3, the Packers could transform their pass defense into one of the league's best. Projected stats indicate that with the addition of James, Green Bay could see their interceptions jump from a current projection of 14 to around 22, boosting their turnover rate by an impressive 16%. That's the kind of impact that can tilt the scales in close games and make a real difference in the postseason. The numbers speak volumes, allowing a passer rating of 87. 4 could drop to as low as 72, 8 with James in the fold. The run support would see a boost of around 14%, making the defense not just more aggressive but also more disciplined. And with Jair Alexander playing at a PFF grade of 92. 0, the Packers could boast a backfield that resembles the legendary Legion of Boom from the 2010s, with a secondary capable of shutting down even the most dangerous receivers and tight ends. That kind of secondary dominance is exactly what you need when facing top-tier offenses in the playoffs. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. Green Bay's Super Bowl odds could jump from plus 600 to plus 400 with this move, and the probability of winning increases by about 10%. It's not just about adding a star, it's about elevating the entire team's confidence and competitive edge. Defensive coordinator Joe Barry would have a field day scheming around a secondary that includes James and Alexander working in tandem. The red zone, often a nightmare for defenses, would become a fortress against top tight ends and elite receivers. This move could be the X factor in the Packers' quest for another Lombardi trophy, transforming them from a good team into a true championship contender. Now, let's talk about what this means for the NFC North. The division is already competitive, but a move like this could give Green Bay a clear edge over teams like the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. The Lions, with their explosive offense, would have a harder time moving the ball against a secondary featuring James and McKinney. The Vikings, with their high-powered passing game led by Kirk Cousins, would also think twice before throwing into that secondary. Plus, with the Packers' offense firing on all cylinders, a lockdown defense could turn close games into comfortable victories, especially in the playoffs where every possession matters. This potential acquisition also raises questions about the Packers' long-term strategy. Are they all in on this season? It certainly looks like it. With a roster that's been steadily improving and the front office willing to make bold moves, Green Bay seems poised to make a serious push for the Super Bowl. It's a bold gamble, but if it pays off, it could cement this team's place in franchise history, adding yet another chapter to the storied Packers' legacy. Of course, there are always hurdles. The Chargers, as mentioned, are in a tough financial spot, and trading away a player like James would be a significant decision. They need to weigh the immediate benefits against the potential long-term impact, especially with their cap situation and their focus on building around Herbert. But if the Packers can offer a compelling package, probably including a third-round pick and maybe a safety like Dallas Scott or Jonathan Owens, they could convince Los Angeles to part ways with their star. For fans, this is the kind of move that sparks hope and excitement. It's a bold statement, a sign that the Packers are serious about competing at the highest level. Derwin James's arrival would not only improve the team's defense but also send a message to the rest of the league. Green Bay is back in the championship hunt, ready to take on anyone and everyone. Imagine the impact he would have, creating turnovers, shutting down top receivers, and elevating the entire secondary. That kind of playmaking can be the difference between a good season and a legendary one. As always, fans should keep an eye on the news because, with NFL trades and rumors, things can change quickly. But if this deal goes through, it will be a game changer. Green Bay would be adding a player who's not just talented, but also a true leader on the field. The kind of player who can come up with big plays in crucial moments, especially in the playoffs. That's the kind of addition that can turn a team's destiny around, and Packers fans should be thrilled if it happens. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Packers should go all in on Derwin James? Would you trade a third-round pick plus a safety to bring him here? How do you see this impacting our chances, both for the rest of this season and for a deep playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Green Bay Packers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Green Bay Packers news. This is an exciting time to be a Packers fan, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds. One thing's for sure, the Packers are always aiming for greatness, and with moves like this, they're showing they're not afraid to pull out all the stops in pursuit of that Lombardi trophy.